In this episode, we get into sales pages. Who needs them? Who doesn't? How long to make them? When to create a sales page, which will actually shock you because it is not what you think, and how to use them the right way for all personality types to increase conversions. It's a hot topic, and I brought in the best of the best when it comes to copywriting. So stick with me as Marisa Corcoran and I dive into all things sales pages. Hey, friend, welcome to the Badass is the New Black podcast, where our motto is done is better than perfect. I'm Chrissy Chin, here on a mission to help you grow your business online, turn your leads into lifelong customers, and scale to six figures and beyond so you can work less and enjoy and earn a whole lot more. Most importantly, I'm a laid-back wife, a mom, a friend who started as a peds nurse, turned network marketer, and now a serial entrepreneur. This podcast is for ambitious people with an idea, a vision, but no idea how to get there. On this podcast, I'll give actionable steps to keep you moving forward while you learn new business strategies, better systems and processes, marketing, sales, all the things you need to build and scale a blissful business that keeps your pocketbooks growing. Grab a beverage, open up your notes app, and let's get to it. If you are ready to discover what to say and how to say it to magnetically attract your dream clients, then you need Marisa Corcoran in your corner. In addition to writing the words that get landing pages converting at 60% or higher and crafting personality-filled emails, Marisa helps coaches and creatives craft their uncopyable message inside her signature program, the Copy Confidence Society. She's also the creator of the wildly popular summit, the Copy Chat, which has raised over $120,000 for organizations like Soulfire Farm, the Headstrong Project, and Sage USA. When not click-clacking on her laptop on her all-American road trip this year, you can find this Harvard grad analyzing a Real Housewives episode like it's a government policy and consuming inappropriate amounts of nutrageous candy bars. Marisa, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you, Chrissy. Thanks for having me. I feel like I need an outrageous, and maybe your listeners, I don't know what your favorite candy bar is out there, but whenever I see an outrageous candy bar, I have to buy one. You don't see them everywhere. So I feel like today I might go on the hunt for an outrageous candy bar.
Oh my God, I love
You,
it. I'm a
yeah,
Butterfinger girl, so
I support that. I love a Butterfinger. Like at Halloween, the little Butterfingers, forget it.
yes. With my kids, I'm like, give me all your Butterfingers.
Yep. Yep. I think, yeah. And I'm sure your listeners might have like their favorite. I feel like when you see that favorite one, for me at Halloween, it's like the Reese's peanut butter
Yes.
pumpkins,
Ooh, yes, yes.
I mean, really, there's not really a candy I won't. I mean, I'd
Agreed.
like to say like, oh, I don't like that one, but I'll eat it. Throw me a Three
I think
Musketeers.
almond
I'll eat it.
joys. I think
Oh,
almond
almond joys are
joys
my
from
favorites, by the way.
Okay. Well, I'll pass all of those over from my
I love
kids to me
coconut.
to you.
Okay, yeah, this Halloween, I want it. I want the coconut. I love anything coconut. So
Oh my
I'm your
God,
girl.
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, y'all, I think you're getting an idea of like why I love Marisa so much. She's just so amazing, so fun to talk to. We met in the Mixer Mind, which I know y'all have heard me. If you've been listening, you've been hearing me talk about and bringing just these amazing women into our space so that you can get to know them and learn from them. We were in a really small pod together for the first 4 months, and I've just loved getting to know you, loved everything that you teach and how you serve your community so well, which, after getting to know you, I was like, okay, hands down, must bring you inside to our Access the Expert series. So if you're new here listening, you might not have heard of this before. You're like, what is Access the Experts? But it's a series that Claire and I are putting on or have been putting on to bring in an expert every single month. And they deep dive into a topic in their area of expertise, from taxes to SEO to neurolinguistic programming, to teach you far beyond what Claire and I could, and give you the opportunity to ask these amazing experts anything. I've had access to Marisa to talk to her about, business and copy, and it was just so valuable to me. And it was like, I want to give you all the opportunity to be able to ask her questions as well. So Marisa is our July expert, and she'll be doing a deep dive into writing sizzling copy for sales pages happening July 10th. You can use the link below this video and in the show notes to grab your virtual seat for free. And yes, you can share it with your friends. So please, by all means, share this with your business bestie. The more, the merrier. We both, I think, kind of live by that, right? Like invite the people in, right? Everyone needs to know. So Marisa, we are going to talk about sales pages today and help get our listeners ready for the Access the Experts training. But I would love to have you share a little bit more about how you got here doing what you're doing, teaching your community about how to write sizzling copy.
Yeah, it's such a, it's such a great question. I always say I always say that Winnie the Pooh, that yes, the cartoon, the bear kind of broke me. So I was trained as an actor. I got my MFA in acting from Harvard University, and I was auditioning and I was writing copy. Actually, I kind of fell into it, kind of writing for people. This is back in 2013. So I always joke and say the online space is kind of the wild, wild west, even though it still
Right.
is. And I kind of, failed my way forward. I'd write a website for somebody, figured out how to do websites. Okay, I started writing sales page copy. I started doing, so that was kind of like my side job. And then I'll never forget, I had this audition for Winnie the Pooh, and I was so excited to play the character of Rabbit. And I worked really, really hard for Rabbit. And I decided that Rabbit was going to be like this kind of like Italian, like cross between like this Italian comic, Sebastian Maniscalco, and like Marissa Tomei for My Cousin Vinny. And
Love
I
it.
worked like super hard on this character. And then there was a mix up, like they didn't need me to come to audition, whatever the reason was, they didn't need me. And I remember just standing in my kitchen, I had overalls on because I thought like that's what Rabbit would wear, is like overalls. And I just started taking the overalls like off one by one in my kitchen until I was just standing there like, I don't want to do this anymore. I felt like my fate was always in the hands of someone else. And so at that point, I really turned my attention. I was like, okay, this was plan B. Like, I'm going to turn my attention to writing full time, but there could be no plan C. And then I was writing for a few months for my clients, and my clients were really getting really great results. They were getting, the gateway to kind of $100,000 launches that they were doing with their emails. We were getting really high, like we were talking about opt-in, their opt-in, their conversion rates. And so I knew I was onto something. So I started to apply this actor's guide to copy, that everything that makes you a compelling actor on stage makes you a superstar for your business. And that's really how I came up with all of our frameworks and everything that we talk about. And that's how the Copy Confidence Society was born, was really to help my private clients, like how they could do this for themselves, because you're always going to be writing copy for your
Hmm.
business,
Yeah.
always. So how could they know, that an email was great, or that this social post was going to work? And so I was kind of showing them in the background this actor's guide to copy. And then that's what became the Copy Confidence Society, which premiered in 2019. And now we've launched the society 12 times. We've
Hmm.
supported close to 800 business owners inside of the
That's
society.
so
And it
cool.
all goes back to the day that I was just like, got rejected from this
Stripping
Winnie the
down.
Pooh audition.
Yes. Stripping down from your overalls, from your
Yep, stripped down
auditioning.
from my overalls to like, okay, let's let's go. And I actually found that I was really happy when I was writing for my clients. That was the thing. In those months between acting, before I really, because at that time I thought, okay, I'll be a done for you copywriter. Like I was happy doing that, but then I still had that itch to kind of create community and be in the spotlight. And I knew I had something to say about this actor's guide to
Mhm.
copy. Um, and so here we are.
Oh my God, I love it. There's so many pieces to this story that I just want to highlight. Like the fact that you were leaning into, like I always talk about this, leaning into your strengths, your knowledge, your experience, your expertise from before. And how can you use that to propel you forward? Like, how can you bring that in? So I love that you were using this background of your acting knowledge and what you're like, oh, this is how we have to stand out here in this very, crowded space where there's a lot of competition. How can we translate that into copy for our businesses? Because it is the same. Like we also have to stand out. I don't believe in an oversaturated market where there's not enough people to serve you, even if you're doing something, that thousands of others are too. But I believe in the importance of standing out from all of those people as well. So that like, you can draw in your ideal customers and all of that. So I love that you used your background in acting to bring that in to everything that you're doing
Yeah.
now. How
Yeah. And
magical.
I'm sure if you're listening out there, it's just really taking a moment to think about what brought you to your business. And it's likely that you have things in your background, skill set, what you did before. There is a connection piece there. It's something we talk about a ton inside of the Copy Confidence Society, is how to bring that into, because that's like what you just said, Chrissy, how you'll stand out. And I say, when you actually do that, then there can be no such thing as competition. There can only
Mm,
be collaboration, because
mhm.
there's something that makes you specific about that, that maybe somebody else doesn't do. But then I always say, like, opens up the 3 R's that people will remember you, rave about you, and refer you. So
Yes.
being able to kind of tap into what that is, I think people forget, or they think it needs to be some giant thing, where often it could be that you have this skill set from your background that you're just not talking about enough,
Yeah.
that you could add into, your business now.
Yeah, exactly. One of our current BBB students, she is in has a wellness business, and then she sent me a message about some PR thing, and I was like, "Oh, how do you know so much about PR?" And she's like, "Actually, that's what I do for my day job." And I was like, "Wait, what? How come I did
Yeah.
not know about this?" And you could 100% be leveraging your knowledge there to get your business more visible using your PR. And she's like, "Oh, yeah, I could be doing that." So it's like, all of your strengths, like you can be using these in your own unique way to have fun with and move your business forward. The other part of your story that I wanted to just highlight and point out is that you mentioned that we need to know how to write copy because we're doing it in all of the things. So like I love done for you services, and I'm not even sure if you do done for you copy services anymore at this point.
No, no
No,
more.
okay.
Yeah. My
So you
full
don't.
focus is the society. Yep.
Okay. I love it. So like we have done for you copywriting through our team, but we teach copy, at smaller scale than what you are doing inside your offers, because you need to know how to do it. Like even if you have someone write a sales page for you or whatever it is, you need to know how to write good copy because like you said, every single email, every single social post, even to pitch to get on someone's podcast or how to speak to someone, like that's still words, like it's coming out of your mouth, but like it's still copy. So being able to speak in a certain way to make that impact, to stand out, to get people to take action, like it's all copy related. So you have to learn the skill.
Yeah. I always say, like you just said, I always say copy is like water for your, but like you're always going to need it. It's not going out of style. Even when what we're doing right now is copy, we're just talking about what we do. So in the society, we really try to prep people to really be able to create that copy for themselves so that they can do that. And then if they do pass it on to a copywriter, they're going to be so set up for success with that copywriter because they're going to have a strong idea of their voice, their vibe, like your word closet, we call it,
Yeah.
all these things that can really support a copywriter. And you're going to know what great copy looks like. So the ROI of that is just so beneficial. And like you're saying, even if you have a copywriter or somebody that's writing for you in the future, being able to whip up an email when you need it or a social post or
Mhm.
talk about what you do with clarity and confidence, you're always going to need that.
Yeah,
So
because it is
we try to,
challenging
yeah.
when you have to rely. If you're doing everything
Mhm.
done for you and then you don't know how to do anything on your own, then you have to rely on everyone else. And it's right. It's like, what if I need to just whip up this page real quick? Like the other weekend, I was like, Michael was gone with the kids. And I was like, I'm just going to pour myself a glass of wine. And I had this brilliant idea for like a new funnel. And I was like, all right, I'm going to create the opt in page and I'm going to create the freebie and I'm going to create these emails. And like, I had a blast doing it. If I had just outsourced everything and not learned how to write good copy or design the pages or set up the pages, like I would have just been like, great, okay, this idea, I have to wait. And then the excitement would die. And then, so like I
Yeah.
would just, so it's nice to be able to be self-sufficient in some things when you need to be.
Yeah. It's such a great example of that, Chrissy, is like when you're using it, like you're able to like jump on that like spark of creativity and use it and be able to like whip this up for yourself. And
Mhm.
so, and then then you're able to see like also if somebody is writing for you, like you can see like what great copy is. And I say it's like, that's why I say it's like the number one skill you need as a business owner. I always say your business has three basic needs. You have to sell in a way that feels good. If you don't have buyers, you don't have a business. You have
Mhm.
to know how to call in the right people to sell to. We refer, as lead generation, audience growth. And in order to call in the right people to sell to, you have to know what to say and how to say it in order for those two things to happen. So it's a skill that is really, really worth your time and energy and honing a bit for yourself for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Love it, love it. And
Yeah.
there's so many like directions we could go with talking about copy, but I chose sales pages for a reason because it is incredibly important when it comes to conversions and things like that. So my first question that I'm thinking and like channeling, the people listening, does every offer need a sales page?
Oh, okay. I really, really, really love this question. So the answer is no, it doesn't. But I say this no, but by even if you don't craft a full sales page, knowing what the 10 steps to what we call a sizzling sales page, knowing those 10 steps, even if you don't have a full sales page, there's usually about 3 of those steps that you can still use for your offer, even if it's a one-on-one offer. So you don't need maybe a traditional kind of sales letter or sales page, but there's elements of it that you can take, that you can kind of whip up for yourself, that you can have to support if you're, talking to people one-on-one, or if you're sending them something in order to help them make the best decision for them. There's something that they can go to for their buyer style to like see exactly what they need, the benefits, all of that. But you don't necessarily need a full out, like the full 10 steps. That kind of
Mhm.
varies, but there's usually something you can take from it. I always say about 3 of the steps that can serve you for any offer that you have.
Mhm. Yeah. So it's almost like crafting the sales page kind of gives you the information you need to know to then plug into the other areas of like how you're going to sell. So you mentioned like if you're on a call with someone, so like sales calls, right? Sometimes I think of like if you have an offer, let's say you're a coach and you're doing sales calls in the very beginning for this new offer, and it's like your warm audience, people know you, you might not need a full-on sales page to sell your offer, right? You're going to get on a sales call, they already know you, they like you, they trust you. You're going to be knowing what they're or finding out what they really need support with and then saying, "Can my offer do this?" And you're going to, essentially pitch them that offer there. So you may not need a sales page for that. But what offers are you're like, "Yes, you do need a full-on sales page."
Yeah.
Even if you're
Yeah.
like creating a small version for something else, but like these fuller ones, like you said, the 10 step, what offers are you like 100% hands down? Yes, we need to pitch.
Yeah, totally. So the ones that you need hands down, yes, I feel I'm always available to be wrong. This isn't like a, but where I found them to be the most supportive for people. And if you're listening out there, really thinking about like if you have a group program, a group experience, a sales page can be really, really beneficial when you're selling kind of one to many.
Mhm.
If you have a course, a sales page is fantastic. If you have a digital product, a product that maybe you're selling on Evergreen, having a sales page. So usually when we start to get into that one to many, a group program, a course, that's where kind of the 10 steps of what we call that 10 steps to a sizzling sales page really can be so helpful for you. And once you create it, then you have it.
Mhm.
Um, and again, even if you're selling one to one, even taking, like we said, elements of that, and before you get on the sales call with somebody, even if they're warm, like sending them that page, that small page to look at, so that they can bring more concrete questions together. So we're not really, it just makes the experience feel like you're truly helping people make the best decision for them. It's an asset that you can get into concrete questions with them, point them to certain places. So everything it doesn't feel salesy. It really feels like they have all the information they need, and you're supporting them on the call to like answer those last minute questions or those things
Mm.
that they need. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And I'm sort of thinking about before we hit the record, I always like usually hit the record even when we're just chatting because it's like the really good golden nuggets come up when we're just like chatting about like what are we
Yeah.
going to talk about? But I didn't. So we were talking about, how the sales page like creating that can be this place to then grab copy and use in other areas. So, kind of twofold question of like when are you creating the sales page? At what part in your process? And
Yeah.
then how are you also leveraging that, for the other things that you're doing? Because what I often feel like people think about with a sales page is like, oh, if I just have this really amazing sales page, I can just send the sales page to people. And then they
Mhm.
should be buying, right? Like the
Right.
sales page is amazing and incredible and so needed, but it's not the one thing that sells your offer, right? There's so many other pieces to
Yeah.
it. It just plays a very important role in the conversion process. So talk me through a bit about that in terms of like how the sales page plays a role in for you with everything else that you're creating.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you said that because it's an important cog in the wheel, but it is not the make or break. There's so many other little, I call it like sneaky copy, or ways that we follow up with people, or ways that we give those personal connection, and the copy supports that. This is what I so love that you said that, Chrissy, and I hope like, your listeners like really take that in, is like the copy supports these other efforts that you have and make it, I'm never going to say it's easy to run. There's days where I'm like, whose idea was this? But it can make it simple to be able to have that structure in place. So when we're thinking about, your sales page, it's like, that's for me. If we're selling one to many and you decide you're going to have like that sales page, that's the first thing that I tell people to create, because it's going to give you so much clarity on the offer, on your story that connects to it, on the benefits, on the features, on the questions. Having that in place, you then can take that and take parts of it, and that can become the emails that you send, like the launch emails. You could have a whole email that talks about your story and why you created that program. And it could be taken copy and paste, like straight from your from the sales page. And so
Mhm.
because you already have that created, you can use that for different emails that you might have, social posts, because there's different buyer personas. So some buyers are going to need to really see like and hear your personal story to connect, to help them make the best decision for them. So boom, that becomes an email. Other of your buyers are very much like Q&A, like I need to see it like really just listed out in a Q&A form. So that's always my favorite email to send in a launch, is the Q&A email. Is this email that's like, here's the top 10 questions you have. This email has the answers to all of them. That's taken right from the sales page.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, and then being able to have more of like the benefits for people who really need to understand how this is going to help them and how that connects to the specific parts of your program. That again can be taken right from your sales page. So your emails, your social posts basically get written by doing this first step. And also, if you do take calls with people, you can point them to parts of the sales page. You can help like answer their questions using this asset. So I always say you create that. And then like right now at the time of this recording, we're going through kind of an email only launch for the society, which is new for us. Usually we do our masterclass, we do all sorts of things, but we're doing an email only launch right now. And I was able to create all those emails like you, Chrissy, with a glass of wine using our sales page. It was like, well, let me go through and think about the different buyer personas, and the 10 steps really help you understand what that is. And then you just get to have that and you can use it again and again.
Yes. Okay. So I love that you talked about the sales page kind of being that first step, because as you were saying that, I was thinking about one of our latest private clients, and we actually created the sales page first. And then so he like had an idea for this course and program that he wanted to create for people in the construction industry. And it was like, okay, great. Like you've got this outline. Now let's create the sales page. And actually the sales page then, like things that we were coming up with in terms like to market this and all the features, it was like, oh, I think we really need to add this module so that we can just make sure it's super robust. And like what we want to say is like how, the benefits that you'll get out of this program, they'll actually get it. So the sales page even kind of informed some assets and aspects of the course that he was going to create
Yeah.
too, which is really cool. And then, yes, like I love that you can kind of just take this sales page and then essentially like repurpose it, right? If you love that word repurpose, if that resonates with you, you basically just take these different pieces and plug them in emails and social posts and all of this. I think for so long, even I was guilty of every email has to be different and different from the sales page. And because if they're hearing it there, then they need to hear something different here. And like, that's actually not true. They just need to hear basically the same few messages over and over and over again. So it's like you put it on the sales page and then you put it in the email and then you put it in your masterclass and you put it on your social posts so that regardless of where they are hearing it, they're hearing it. And if they're in all the places, they're hearing it again and again and again. So it like really rings true,
Yeah,
right?
actually that repetition is so important for them to really make sure that it's right for them. I'll talk to people that say, I've gone through the sales page a few times, I checked it out, and I saw you send this email, and they'll even say, and I heard it before, but I heard it in a different way, and I'm really ready for the society
Mhm.
now. So in fact, like letting yourself let go of feeling you have to create something new every time and using aspects of the sales page to help you do it. And like I love that example that you gave, Chrissy, because it really helps you flesh out what you're selling and being able to get more clarity from doing it. So it's just such a powerful asset to have. Again, even if you don't end up needing and some of the steps are like super short and simple, but even if you don't end up having that full out kind of traditional sales page, these elements can be so, so helpful for,
Mhm.
again, your emails. Even if you don't even have anything written out, but you have an idea of what it is and you're on a call with somebody, you can have that like in your brain to be able to bring up to somebody on a call, just knowing like what 3 of the steps are
Yeah.
and what it means for you and your offer.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love so much of that. And so many, like I always hear like, oh, like I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to be, come off as too much. Like, how does having a sales page assist in that? If
Yo,
that
for
like, does that question make any sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Because it gives, I really feel like the sales page, it's like the proof of the of concept. It's like, here's what it is, here's what that core promise, here's what you're gonna get from it. And then we back that up with testimonials, with the social proof. We back that up with your story, all these different, it just it really kind of cuts through the salesiness. Um it and again, especially the way that I always say, I'm always available to be wrong. I never want to like preach like a guru culture at all. But the way that we talk about it is really positioning the sales page to help people make the best decision for them. So
Mm,
also giving them like there's a couple of steps where I talk about giving people outs, helping people say no if they need to say no. Like
mhm,
specific sections where if people need to say no, they feel like they can, which
mhm,
is just a really beautiful way to have your sales page. So it really cuts through the salesiness, helps people make the best decision for them, but you're backing it up with your own story, with the core promise, the people that you've supported, all of those things. The FAQs sometimes just answering the plain like question answer can really cut through the salesiness for people and just give people those concrete details of what they need.
mhm. Yes, I love everything about that. And all of those pieces, there is strategy behind them, where you're putting it, how you're positioning it. And you mentioned, the different personality types. So there is a right and a wrong way to do a sales page, right? So, you know, being able to know all of these little things that Marisa is talking about in terms of like where to put certain things on your sales page, how to position it on your sales page, the FAQs, there's even like strategy behind FAQs, like the
Oh,
questions that
100%.
you're putting on the sales page,
Yep.
right? And it's
And
like
where
if
do you
you
find those questions? Where do you sometimes people will just put questions in that's like, "Oh, what's included in the program? Oh, what is this like because that's what they're thinking and you do
right.
want those. But there are some very like key places where your FAQs should come from. A hint is the
Mhm.
questions that people have been asking you and actually use their words
Yeah.
in the FAQ. Like one of ours is, um I always, start a course, but I don't finish it. I'm worried this won't be different.
Right.
That's literally one of our questions,
Yeah.
And then that's when I tell them like, hey, it's not my goal for you to finish the Copy Confidence Society because you're always going to need copy for your business,
Yeah.
So being able to use their words in it. And some things that I also see, like a lot of times people will really, it's a simple tweak, but at the top of a sales page, that's like such important real estate that especially if you have a quick buyer, somebody who doesn't need a ton
Mhm.
of the info, I'll see people miss the opportunity to really grab them at the top of the sales page. So like steps 1, 2, and 3 are really set up to grab that person who doesn't need a lot, which again helps you cut through the salesiness because you're giving
Mhm.
them what they need in the beginning.
Yes, yes. I was just looking in a big group and someone had this question like, how long does my sales page need to be? Does my sales page really need to be very long, like everyone says? And it's like, yes. I mean, like, yes and no. Like, kind of like, do I need a sales page or not?
Yep.
Like, the long sales page is for the different personality
Yeah,
types.
it's
If
not for
you
you. This is the thing that people don't realize. It's not for you. It's not the right person is not looking at it going, "Oh my gosh, this is so long." If they are, that's not their buyer persona. So when people
Mhm.
come to me and say, "Well, I don't want to have a long sales page." I'm like, "Well, great for you. That's your buyer persona.
Yeah.
You're a quick bot, but that might not be the people." So you again, the way that I talk about sales pages is how do we help people make the best decision for them? How do we help them be a heck yes or a not right now or a heck no? Like, how do we do that? So there are some buyer personas that will read every single detail on your sales page and they'll still email you to ask you a question and tell you there's a typo as well, which I
Right.
always welcome. I'm
Can't
like, thank
forget
you for
that.
telling me. And they still like, right. And they've read it. So if I didn't have that information on the sales page, I'm not helping them make the best decision for them. And So when people say that to me, I'm like, oh, well, or people will go, well, how much of my story do I have to tell? Like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, I understand. Let's find out what you need to, but it's likely that's not your buyer persona. You're not the buyer
Mhm.
persona that needs that personal connection, but there are people who are like, that's my buyer persona. Half the time, if I have a personal connection to somebody, I'm like, what did I sign up? When are the calls? That's not me. I'm like,
Right.
what time's the call at? Noon. Okay, I'll be there. If I have a personal connection and the core promise is clear, there's something about that person's story and the core promise, I'm in. I don't even look at oh, we're meeting at noon. Okay, I have to tell the team, like, I'll figure it out. So if
Right.
somebody didn't have that or share that story, you would miss out on a buyer like me.
Mhm. Yeah, so I think that's really important. Just something to highlight is that there are different buyer personas, and your sales page is to help facilitate every single one of those personas to decide if they're a heck yes, a not right now, or a no. And
Yep.
there's a strategy and a step-by-step process behind that. So
Yep.
I think that's amazing to like to get us started on this topic and conversation and kind of leave us really like I'm so pumped now after just chatting with you here to come to the Access the Experts, y'all. And like I have written all of our sales pages. Like I write sales pages. I know about it and I'm like still here like, "Oh my gosh, I know I can learn more and I can learn more from you and more tips or things that I've heard before that didn't resonate at the time." And now I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, yes. Can I verify and double check that I'm doing that in my sales pages?" So even if you have sales pages already, like come to this, audit your sales pages, use this as a process. So share with us more about what we can expect inside this Access the Experts
Yeah.
session with you.
Yeah, so we're going to break down the 10 steps to a sizzling sales page. We do it with a little help from Darkwing Duck. If you are a 90s kid like myself, or you don't know what that is at all, Darkwing Duck is like a famous 90s cartoon where he's like solving crimes. And Darkwing Duck is the perfect companion to help you understand like how to like mine and figure out and like solve the mystery of your sales page. So we'll break down like the 10 steps to a sizzling sales page. I'm going to show you some great sales pages in action so you can see examples of each one. And we'll also have, I really love to position it where we'll have time for you to ask your questions or bring your sales pages with you. So if there's a question about your own, the story part or the FAQs, we can kind of dive deeper into that. And then I will give you, it's like, I will give you the Google Doc, literally the workbook that we use inside of the Coffee Confidence Society. Like I will gift it to you. It is yours to then go through and kind of fill in those 10 steps for yourself as well. And we'll also talk about, like, we kind of hinted at it here, just some of those mistakes I see people make at the top. So even bringing your sales page and just tweaking the top. Like if you tweak nothing else but the top, that could be such a game changer. So we'll talk about some of these little sneaky places that you could make changes at the top, in your FAQ section, and what I call the come to Jesus moment in the end,
I love
how
it.
you're ending your sales page. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so your assignment after listening to this is coming up with your questions that you have about sales pages. And please, if you're watching on YouTube, drop them in the comments here. I would love to start getting these questions kind of compiled, but of course, bring questions to the live chat. Come live so you can ask your questions. The other thing is, a lot of us feel like we don't have questions. Like maybe I don't know what to ask, but then when you're attending live, questions come up. Right? How many
Yep.
times have you been watching a training or something and they said something and you're like, "Oh my gosh, now I have a question." And if you're just watching the replay, you don't have the ability to ask that or get clarification. So that's a huge perk to
Yep.
coming live to this. So July 10th, use the link below this video or in the show notes. Go check out the time that is on there and just mark it off in your calendar. Rearrange your schedule, figure it out. Is going to be incredibly valuable for you to be there. Even if you don't have an offer right now, that requires a sales page, like we talked about. It's going to be an incredible asset to create the other things that you will need to sell your offers, regardless of if it's digital products, a workshop, a group program, a physical product through affiliate marketing. They all need sizzling copy and the copy that you create through your sales page to use to market your offer. So that's, I think, a good wrap up. Is
Great.
there where can people connect with you until then? Because you give some like I love watching your reels. You're always giving like little tips and tidbits on copy and like how
Yeah.
to inject your personality. And I've gotten so many great nuggets from there. So where can people find you and follow you until they get this deep dive with you?
Yeah, my favorite is over on Instagram. You can find me at mtoni, MTONI. And I would love if, you're out there and you're listening and you listened today and there was something that, you were excited, you're going to come to the class, or you have a question already about sales pages, like please DM me. It is me that will respond to you. So, even DM me and say, oh, I listened to you on the podcast, and I will always get back to you. And I think even if it's like, I want to come to the class, but I don't have an offer, like, what would I even be looking at? I'm happy to give you a couple of things to think about, that you can use like the sales page for, even thinking about like the core promise of your offer and all that good stuff. So slide into my DMs on Instagram.
Love it. Do it, friends. She invited you for all the
Yeah, I
projectors out
invited
there
you.
that
Yep.
need the
Yes,
invite.
projectors. This manifesting generator is inviting you into my DMs. Okay.
Yes.
This 5-2. I don't know if Chrissy, I thought it was a 6-2 manifesting generator up until last week when my mother finally found the birth certificate that had the time I was born.
Okay.
And it shifted me. I'm no longer a 6-2 manifesting generator. I'm a 5-2 manifesting generator. So I feel like I have a whole new identity. Just
I love it. Okay, and friends, if you're like, what the heck is a manifesting generator? What are these numbers? By the way, like secret sneak peek, we're bringing in someone for human design
oh,
in a
great.
couple months.
Oh,
So I'm really
yay.
excited to talk about that topic. But
Yes.
first, we're doing sales pages.
I'm doing
So
sales
this is
pages.
incredible. Marisa invited you to slide into her DMs, to ask those questions, to share whatever it is with her so she can prep you for this Access the Expert. So again, use the link below this video or in the show notes to grab your free seat. Come live, please. We have so much fun live together. And share this with a friend. If you found value in this podcast alone, take a little screenshot, share it to your Instagram, tag both of us on social. I'm the Chrissy Chin _, and you shared your little link there. So tag us. We would love to have you share this out. Until then, I'm excited. I'm going to go like prep my questions just in case. I give you all first dibs on questions, but just in case it's quiet in the room, I will always bring questions and my sales page to sneak in there if you don't bring yours. So bring your sales page. All right. I
Great.
love this. Marisa, thank you so much for being here, for sharing your insights. And I'm excited that this is not the end of our conversation, but just the beginning. And we'll
Yes, I love it.
soon.
Thanks for having me, Chrissy.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you got some value out of this episode, I would love some support. And the best way to do that, so I can keep showering you with loads of actionable tips, is to hit that subscribe button. Leave a review or a comment if you're on YouTube, and share this podcast with a friend. And when you share it with a friend on social, please tag me so I can reshare your share in my stories. It's been an absolute pleasure hanging out. I appreciate the heck out of you for showing up. And now it's time for you to take imperfect action so you can work less and enjoy and earn a whole lot more.